Hello, everyone. Today we are starting a new political show on Lions Wire. We call it Politico Show. And today our guest is renowned political scientist Ilya Levkov. Ilya has received BA from Jerusalem University, MA from Brandeis University, did doctoral studies in Columbia University, and eventually did doctoral research in Free University of Berlin. Mr. Levkov is fluent in Russian, German, Hebrew, and English languages. Ilya has founded a Liberty publishing house that is responsible for more than 800 publications, books, I should say.
Yes.
Ilya, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Frank. Thank you for inviting me. And I hope my accent will be tolerated kindly by our viewers.
Absolutely, I'm sure it will be. Ilya, so there are a few very worrisome things happening at the moment. One of them is number of Jewish organizations. Literally a few days ago, we came out with a demand and a joint letter for Israeli government to immediately make maximum effort to release hostages that are being held by Hamas. But the demand in the letter doesn't even remotely mention Hamas as a playing party.
It doesn't mention, therefore, release. That is the point. Let us focus instantly. It's for the first time 16 Jewish pro-Zionist organizations came out with a new, in this constellation, in this situation, with a new slogan. The slogan which this appeal calls to people to join this demonstration on January the 12th at 9 a.m. at Dag Hammarskjöld Plaza. You know it. It's across from the United Nations. Now, the title and the cause is Bring Them Home. Now, you know, very, very American. You remember generation of political activism always had this two-line slogan. What do we want? When do we want? Now. So you could see the roots of this.
It sounds almost like Soviet, motto.
Listen,
go forward.
Plenty American roots. Soviets didn't do it. Soviets only concocted similar slogans when they demanded, let's say, from Europeans against the mid-range stationing of mid-range rockets in Western Europe.
Right.
Now, however, here it was unusual because they say bring them home. Now, what does it mean? Who can bring them home? Those who have them, correct?
Right, so Hamas needs to release them.
Exactly. So, but by not using the word release, you see, you have the shifting of the accent to somebody else, not those, because bring them, this directed toward somebody mystical who took them, correct?
Right, it's a shift of responsibility basically from Hamas to Israeli government.
Correct, but this gamemanship, you see, in one, if they would have written, release them home now, this would be at least an indication, release those that keep them underground, correct? So
right.
Here it says bring them. You see, it's a very, very subtle, although very, very obvious. For my antennas, it was immediately. And therefore, they throw on the shoulders, responsibility on the shoulders of the Israeli government. Now, two things. Today, as a matter of fact, I heard the former Speaker of the Knesset, former Minister of Police, you understand, an elderly man who by chance somebody was woman, I don't know, he was saying she was babysitting his grandchild, and he almost in tears repeated the same slogan today in Israel, in front of the TV, of course, and practically crying. Now, how can a person being brought to tears in Israel because he simply says we have to do absolutely everything? Do you hear? Absolutely everything is whatever Hamas wants. Remember, like Lola, Hamas gets. What kind of an approach is from such a seasoned Israeli
Politician.
That is what motivates him. And this is the roots. We are now, will spend several minutes in search of the roots. You understand?
Yes.
Because this statement addressed to Israeli government without mentioning it. You see what kind of a dirty trick it is. A. B. It's obvious and known to everybody that Hamas kidnapped, raped, and killed them, the hostages. Hamas can and should release them now, but it should be stated so. But Hamas is not mentioned, or even once in this call to arms against contemporary evil of Nazism. So, no, it is not an error. At the beginning, I thought it was an error. I will read you the name. I'll read you the name of the organizations. 16 organizations. Do we have them? Do I have them? Yes, I have them. One is the Jewish Agency for Israel. Everybody knows this organization. American Zionist Organization. What is it? It's such a thing. American Zionist Movement, not organization. You see, let me be very, very specific. American Jewish Committee, in parentheses, small, New York branch, that is, it's not on a national level. Union for Reform Judaism, Rabbinical Assembly, local organization JCRC, Marlene Myers JCC, ADL, Jaffa, Saving Israel, Ameinu, Arza, Zionist, Romemu, Central Synagogue, and to eliminate. That means that there is a certain coalition, semi-identified.
Bless you, Labriut.
Please forgive me. You will cut it out. And therefore, it's not, the question is where the root lead us. They lead us into the hidden conflict between the present administration in Washington and the Israeli set and declared goals on this imposed war upon Israel. So let's state a little bit. First day, October 7, the White House and the State Department were silent. Second day, they said, we are from Israel 100%, and there is no daylight between our positions. However, they also added, in the resolution of this conflict, we have to keep in mind a goal of creation of two states. Do you understand? How can that be? That at this point, suddenly, the United States, the American administration says, yes, but we will continue to pursue the politics of two states, i.e., the Palestinian state and the Jewish state of Israel, which the Israelis have plenty of, and the world has plenty and plenty of experience that it doesn't work, didn't work, and the official declaration of both PLO, Hamas, and Hezbollah state, the idea is to eliminate the state of Israel. So how many games we should play, repeat those games, and pay with 1,000 and 1,000 lives of Israeli soldiers and civilians. As you know, I will not repeat what happened in Intifada 1, Intifada 2, etc., etc. There are plenty, there are big books I can quote you. However, interesting is who is, does the present administration has a hidden partner in Israel, because they cannot do it. They have to have somebody who will carry the torch of this idea that all the problems will disappear when there will be a Jewish state and a Palestinian state. And this is very, very interesting. The most open and leading candidate to lead that group is Lapid. Lapid, who was in the previous government, who all the time gathers people and criticizes the government of Israel, and who, in various shapes and forms, created the movement to release the Jewish hostages at any price. At any price. Now, the government cannot even discuss those terms because they will not come to people, the really, I don't want to use the word Nazi, but they are very, very close in spirit and deeds, and tell them, you know what would you like to have for the rest of the prisoners? You understand? The state of Israel. They are not state even, they are movement. How come a state should come on both knees just because they broke early in the morning and kidnapped and killed so many people? So here is the thin, invisible line of present politics which are being implemented, dance with hope, and with the full knowledge. I shall tell you that statistically, 82% of the Israelis 72%, 72% of Israelis said before the war and now no to the two-state option. After the invasion of Hamas on October 7th, 10% moved from the center to, and then it's now 82%. This issue is a dead horse, and everybody understands and realizes this. Because in 47 Arabs, I will not give you know, our listeners are smart listeners. They know that there were numerous occasions when they could have had their state in 47, in 48, and in all the variations, even what happened in 56 when Israel joined France and England and occupied the entire Sinai, they were demanded by the United States and the Soviet Union to leave it. And Israel did leave. And all the other negotiation with Barak, with Olmert, and who is not, they received even 100% of the territories prior to Six-Day War and refused to do it. Why? The one major reason, those are movements. Movements not always rush to erect a state and deal with transport, communication, and the sewages. You understand? They won't be those general. As a matter of fact, if people, our listeners, might be too young, but Geraldo Rivera, known by everybody, on his knees in Gaza, pleaded with Arafat, please say that you will recognize the state of Israel. He received an absolute silence and no. He refused to say it. And Geraldo Rivera had with him a very, very kind, in his spirit, in his direction. Therefore, this is what is happening. So I knew it was on Friday when I got it. Nobody in Israel, I informed my old buddy Sharansky and somebody else. I informed two people in Washington, leading activists, professionals, and none of them knew about this, and will be very, very interesting. I'll go to this demonstration to view and see how it develops. It will be this Friday at 9 a.m. and keep on tuned to our
This
station.
is
The future reports from the present front line.
Thank you, Ilya. To me, it's reminiscent to the demands of pro-Hamas demonstrators who just simply put responsibility for they do sort of the mirror statements. They blame Israel for the deaths of civilians, but without really mentioning the fact that there's Hamas that underlies the problem.
Yeah. Without forgetting the beautiful line. Look who is talking. Blinken today, even Israel we mentioned. Biden 2 days ago said he has been in more churches than all his listeners put together. Now, and he was delivering this speech in a church. Now, I will drop note to Netanyahu, who I hoped said to Blinken the classical American statement, praise the Lord and pass the ammunition.
Thank you, Ilya. Thanks for your participation, and we'll be talking further, bringing further news and analysis on Israeli-Palestinian and Middle Eastern front and American front.